I'm Tomoki Kanda, a 32-year-old office worker. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved reading books, and it was always my dream to work as a publisher. I worked my butt off to earn the trust of the authors I managed and vowed to do whatever I could for my job. Or at least that's what I thought my life would be. Hello, this is Tomoki Kanda from NanaKuma House. Huh? Auntie? Is everything all right? Why are you calling during work hours? Huh? Dad? My aunt called to tell me that my dad had suddenly passed away. I finished up whatever I was working on and hopped on the first train I could back to my hometown. Dad. It had been 3 years since the last time I went home. Of course, I was busy too, but my dad specifically told me to take it easy and enjoy my New Year's vacation time at home by myself. I was always worried about him, especially since my mother passed away when I was still in high school. But whenever we talked on the phone, he told me he was fine. I shouldn't have naively believed him. He got so thin. Now I get it. He told me I didn't have to come home because he didn't want me to see him like this. Even to the bitter end, that stubborn old man was trying to avoid me having to worry about him. Dad. With my aunt's help, we managed to have the funeral without any difficulties. Are you okay to miss work? Oh, yeah, it's fine.
That's good. Your father always worried about you, you know. He'd always ask me how you were doing. Knowing he was so sick only made him think of you more.
That sounds like him, all right.
I guess we'll probably have to close the bookstore.
What?
What?
Oh, hold on. Can you let me think about some things and get back to you about that?
I don't mind, but what about you?
My father ran the only bookstore in our town. Every time a new comic came out, all the elementary schoolers would rush over to buy the latest issue. I guess even those days are over now. From my experience in the publishing industry, it was only too obvious that bookstores were quickly going the way of the dodo. Everything was becoming e-books and online markets. The brick-and-mortar places simply couldn't compete. But there's something about a physical bookstore that you just can't replicate online. If this place closes, nobody growing up in this town will ever be able to discover that magic for themselves. As soon as I got back to work, I submitted my 2 weeks' notice to my boss. I understand that this means a lot to you, but do you think you can do it? I'm honestly not sure, but I at least want to try. Good luck. I wish you all the best. If you ever have any questions, you're welcome to talk to me. I don't know if I can help, but I want to see you succeed too. Thank you for everything. After all my workload was successfully offloaded to my successors, I returned to my hometown to become the new manager of Kanda Books. I bet Dad expected we'd close up for good. Standing outside facing the shop, it only made me realize how in over my head I was trying to run a shop like this with no experience. No one's coming? At all? I knew that there was more than one way to get books these days, but I was such an avid reader that I didn't even think about how people were barely reading in the first place. Have I made a terrible mistake?
Hello?
Huh? Oh, hello there.
Hello.
But that doesn't mean there's nobody reading at all. I need to keep my head up. Hello. Welcome. Oh, I don't think I've seen you around before. Nice to meet you. I'm Tomoki. I just took over the store from my father. Were you a friend of his? Absolutely. I've been a patron of this store for a long time now. Call me Kimura. Thank you for your business. Sorry to bother you, but I came to pick up a book I ordered. No problem. Let me find it for you. After that, Kimura became a familiar face around the shop. He was always interested in hearing my book recommendations, and when he'd tell me about how his daughter absolutely devoured everything I pointed him toward, it was the first time I ever felt proud to be a bookstore owner. That joy and pride slowly grew over time, but the sales numbers stayed flat. Before I knew it, it had already been 3 months since I took over the store. That's when I decided to start a book delivery service where we could deliver items that were out of stock at the store directly to customers. I know web stores are still more convenient, but at least it's something. I was willing to throw whatever I could at the wall to see what stuck. One day, my book delivery route took me to my regular customer Kimura's office. He wanted to buy an entire 13-volume series I was telling him about, and instead of making him carry the entire thing, I volunteered to bring it directly to him. Oh, that looks pretty heavy there. Thanks for the trouble, son. Oh, it's no trouble at all, sir. I appreciate the order. It turned out he was in the middle of a lull in his work, so he invited me to stay a moment for tea. What a beautiful office. I guess I never asked him what he does for work. I can't believe it's been 4 months since your old man passed away. Yeah, I know. I bet he's smiling in heaven knowing that Kanda Books is in great hands. I hope so. I was so focused on running the store that I never stopped to think about what my dad would have thought about it. He'd probably just be worried for my sake because I had to take over a store he intended to close. If he had one regret, I bet it would be that he never got to see his son's wedding. Oh, sorry, I just remembered a joke the two of us had. We both had children around the same age, and we talked about wanting you two to meet. That was apparently when my dad said that he was hoping to see me get married someday. The offer's still on the table, son. What do you say about meeting my daughter? Oh, don't worry. It doesn't have to be a big formal event. It's just she was telling me about how she wanted to meet the young bookstore owner who recommended such good books. Oh, really? I thought we could just have a casual chat like we're doing now. Oh, well, in that case, I'd be happy to say hello. And that's how I ended up on a blind date with the daughter of one of my regular customers. On the day of the date, I met the two of them at a local restaurant. This is Tomoki. He's the new owner of Kanda Books I was telling you about. Hi there. No way. And the girl who was there waiting for me was none other than Mika Kimura, the most beautiful and popular girl at my high school. Of course, I knew her last name was Kimura too, but I never made the connection. Back then, I was a scrawny bookworm. I didn't stand out at all, and I paid zero attention to my physical appearance. And then there was Mika. Obviously, everyone in school idolized her, but she was so far out of everyone's league that other students were too afraid to even ask her out. She was always in the foreground, providing some much-needed color to my high school life. I don't think she recognizes me. Ha! Of course she doesn't. We were only in the same class for 1 year when we were seniors. I'll leave you two to it. Huh? Wait! What?
I'm Mika. It's a dream come true.
What?
Daddy told me you were working at NanaKuma Publishing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get to talk with all those writers like you wanted to?
Oh, she meant getting to meet the writers and work on books was a dream come true for me. I was a bit disappointed that she didn't actually remember me, but I honestly felt a bit relieved too. I take much better care of my physical appearance than I did back then, so I'm glad she won't have that negative impression of me in the back of her mind at least. I sure did. You know the book series I recommended to him the other day? I actually worked with Okada, the author.
Wow, I knew you could do it.
What does she mean she knew? Maybe she's just talking about how publishers sometimes get that kind of opportunity or something. After that, the two of us found ourselves chatting deeply about our favorite books. You really love reading, don't you?
Yeah, I'm just a copycat though.
It's kinda cute how she reads the same books as her dad. If I knew we had this much in common, maybe I would have been less scared to talk to her back when we were in school together.
So, are you thinking about marriage?
I always hoped I could get married someday, but it's just never worked out.
So you're not seeing anyone at the moment?
I can't say I am.
Great. Then you can become my partner.
What?
With the two of us combined, I know we could turn this town into a haven for books.
A what?
I prepared this presentation.
I don't understand. And thus, Mika began her presentation, with me looking on in total confusion. To briefly summarize her plan, Mika's father was the owner of a number of inns and hotels in the area, and one of his managers was Mika herself. She had this idea to start running events at her hotel dedicated to avid readers like her, with rooms, suites, and food decorated to look like all her favorite series.
This town has so many great sites to offer that people just don't know about. I feel like this could help put us on the map.
I see.
What do you think?
Well, you'll definitely need some kind of go-between to talk to the publishers for a crossover event like this. I think I might be able to help out, but...
Yes?
What do you think about having the authors themselves come out to the town for book signings and meet and greets? I think my bookstore would be a great place to hold events like that.
That sounds wonderful.
Mika and I continued to flesh out our Bookhaven Village project. By partner, she was just talking about business partners, huh? The fact that I was a bit disappointed was something I wouldn't be sharing with her. We continued to toss ideas for the project back and forth. Even after leaving the restaurant, the two of us exchanged emails with each other every day, and I began to negotiate with publishers. My old boss was extremely open to the idea and agreed to talk with some authors he thought would be interested. Mika devoted every moment of her spare time to visiting me at my bookstore so we could have meetings about the event. And every time we'd end up getting lost in conversation. One of the authors brought up how these desserts appeared in their books, and they would be a great addition to provide to guests at the signing.
That looks wonderful. I wanted to try those ever since I read the book too.
Me too. Oh! Sorry, I got carried away.
Me too.
If I could go back in time and tell my high school self I'd be looking the prettiest girl in school right in the eye and talking with her like we were best friends, there's no way he'd believe me. She was just so many leagues above me and every single other student there. A year later, we opened our first Bookhaven Village event. The combination of a famous author's book signing and the special collaboration hotel plan brought even more tourists than we expected. Locals who became interested in the book series also flocked to check out the event, and Kanda Books saw record profits. Of course, I was thrilled with all of that. But being able to see residents and visitors alike chatting eagerly about their favorite books brought more joy than I'd ever felt before. I hope we can continue doing this with another series. Maybe we really can turn this town into a haven for books. Congratulations on your success!
Thanks, Tomaki. What do you think?
I think it's safe to say it exceeded our wildest expectations, isn't it?
Yeah? So...
Huh? Is everything okay?
About our partnership?
Yeah?
Never mind. Sorry to bother you.
Hold on a second. You weren't talking about a romantic partnership back then, were you? Mika gave a tiny, apprehensive nod. Someone on your level is really okay with me?
My level?
Oh, actually, the two of us went to the same high school.
Wait, you remembered?
I remembered?
I was sure you completely forgot about me.
As if I could ever! I thought you were the most amazing person in school! There's no way I'd ever forget someone like you!
You really thought that?
Oh, I mean, everyone else was too.
Well, I thought you were pretty amazing yourself.
Me? Why? What was there to admire about a loser like me?
You always had the highest grades in school, and every time I saw you in between classes or on the way to or from school, you always had your eyes buried in a book. I couldn't help but notice, so I started copying whatever you were reading at the time.
Wait, so when she said she was a copycat, she was talking about me?
But I didn't know the bookstore owner Daddy told me I'd be meeting was you until I actually met you that day.
I guess she only agreed to meet in the first place to propose her town revitalization idea.
Imagine how shocked I was at that restaurant to see you standing in front of me. I told you it was a dream come true, right? I really meant it.
Wow. The truth is, I felt the same way about you.
Then, if you're okay with it, maybe we could become partners in more than just a business sense?
I'd love that. I can't think of anything I'd rather do.
Oh, Tomaki.
A bittersweet air filled the shop as the two of us full-grown adults stood there blushing like young high school students in love for the first time. The last thing that was on my mind when I quit my job was romance, but reuniting with Mika like this was something beyond even my wildest dreams. I plan to continue to treasure my passion for books, my town, and my beautiful girlfriend for years to come.
Hello! Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. See you all next time. Bye-bye!